All right, our next speaker is Paul Marlow. And Paul, as I had mentioned earlier, he is the creator of the Never Alone movement. He does much, much more than that as far as his backstory and the other things that he's involved with. So I am going to, once Paul gets up and running here, Paul, if you can turn on your mic and your video. Hopefully we still have Paul with us here. Hopefully he didn't suffer the same fate that I did about 5 minutes ago where I was lost in space for a bit. Here we go. All right, and Andrea, if you can mute and turn off your camera, that would be great too. Thanks so much. All right, talk to you soon. All right, there he is, Paul Marlow, aka Tall Paul. He makes me look like I'm short, even though I'm 6'1". Yes, I'm not going to play one-on-one against you. Or even play baseball against you. I believe you. I don't know if you can still throw a heater like you used to, but I'll let that unfold in your story. So, Paul, thanks for joining us here today. I know when we first put this event together, talked about it, gosh, back in October, you were the very first entrepreneur speaker I reached out to be the foundation of this to get us going here. So you threw your hat in and said, yeah, you said, yeah, let's do this. So I had one. So I knew once I had one, how hard could it be to get 5 or 6 more, right? So here we are. So Paul, I'm going to turn it over to you, my friend, and I'm looking forward to hearing your story and your journey.
Thank you, Paul. I think we are going to start with a video. There we go.
I was one of the lucky ones. I grew up with a dad that was my best friend and my biggest fan.
That was my best
4 years ago,
my biggest fan.
He was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Over the years, Parkinson's took its toll. And just when this disease had taken over his body, a new one was near: cancer. 36 days after his diagnosis, he passed away. I found myself in a dark place that I could not fight my way out of, no matter how hard I tried. I took to social media, and soon it became my second therapist. I never thought of an app so focused on travel and material possessions would turn to be my outlet of healing. In doing this, I was able to show others that life could have its downs and be shown on social media. I started receiving messages from people all around the world thanking me for being so open and relatable. I was amazed by how many people connected with my story. Little did I know, I was creating a community of people assuring myself and others that we are never alone. Together, we can aid in ending this stigma. And remember, this isn't the end. This is just the beginning.
Amazing. So, actually, I just got a reminder in my phone, the one that pops up where it says 365 days ago this occurred. And that video showed up 3 days ago. That was my step into entrepreneurship, into starting a business, starting a mental health initiative, starting something I wasn't sure what I was starting, but I knew I wanted to. I knew I needed to. And I knew I had people out there listening, watching, and taking in things from me that would gain from this venture that I was hoping to get into. Unlike everyone else so far, I am the person that they're reaching out trying to help. I'm no one. I launched Never Alone 9 months ago now. And I had my first real mental health struggles 3 years ago when my father passed away in 2018, just like the video said, from cancer. It was a silver lining because the Parkinson disease, Lewy body dementia that we actually believe, turned him into this human that I never thought I would see. And it hit me hard. It hit me so hard that I didn't know how to deal with it. And I wasn't so aware with who I was as a human, who I was with a man, self-confidence, awareness of my feelings and everything going on around me. So I didn't know how to deal with these emotions for that year of watching him essentially waste away. And I didn't know how to deal with emotions when he passed, and I didn't want to accept it. So I had about 12 months of just no happiness, no joy. Took a month off work. Felt as if I had nowhere to go. I had no meaning in life. I was waking up, I was doing things, but I was like a zombie making my way through it. Nothing got me happy. I got like a $10,000 commercial gig out of nowhere, and I was like, okay, what's next? There was no sense of anything, pride even in my life. And I decided to talk about my struggles. I didn't know who to talk to, so I took out my phone. I'm supposed to have my phone with me. And I started talking to my Instagram, just like that, like you saw in the video. I started talking to it. The first one I think I shared when going on this new venture, why I'm here today, was me laying in bed crying and saying it sucks, I wishes he was here. And I think it was a few days after he passed away, my dad. And I shared it, and then people like reached out to me like, "You okay? What's happening? Are you gonna kill yourself?" I'm like, "No. I just don't feel happy. I feel crap. This is horrible. I don't know what to do, but I'm here. I'm alive. I just wanted to share it because why can't I? I have these people out there listening to me, supposedly my friends and followers. I thought they might want to know what's going on." And that started my journey into why not be more honest and open on social media? And then that social media turned in why not be honest and open to myself in real life? As that grew, my happiness still wasn't there. I started creating my hoodie and the clothing line and finding out what my logo was going to be and finding out the name. I'm a first-time entrepreneur, so I had no idea what to do. I didn't have anyone to ask because I didn't know anyone. I read everything in blogs. I did all this online, trial and error, a lot of failures, but those failures I learned things and grew from. But I was still at a point where I was getting things done, but it just wasn't, nothing here. And this can essentially be a whole other show I can show up on. I looked outside the box and I found an MDMA therapist. And so I actually went on an MDMA therapy journey where it consisted of 9 therapy sessions prior, working with her. And then we did an MDMA therapy session, which was a 6-hour session using MDMA, the drug. And it changed my life. It brought happiness into my life. It brought perspective into my life. It was an amazing experience. I've written a blog about it, so if you want to check it on my website, I have everything throughout. It was just something that allowed me to put down the walls. And I had put up a lot of walls in my life up until that point. I was a 32-year-old who had got drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays, who had been a 2-sport college athlete in the States, in Louisiana, basketball and baseball. I had a lot of potential in many areas. However, I didn't succeed in any of them, and I felt like a failure. I didn't talk to a lot of people about that, but I felt like a failure to my father, to my mom, to my friends, to my family. As a 13-year-old, people were like, "You're gonna make the bigs." As a 15-year-old, I was getting touted as a national everything. And unfortunately, with so much potential, I didn't learn how to work. And the work ethic was what I was needed to make to the next level of anything. I didn't have it. So those walls of shame and fear and not knowing what to do with myself and being afraid of going out on this venture because I might fail dropped. Like those walls dropped. And after that, I'm like, I'm gonna take off with Never Alone, whatever it turns into. I'm gonna go and leave this apartment and go find a new journey. I'm gonna get rid of my old job because I don't have happiness anymore. I'm gonna do these things. I'm gonna make it work somehow, some way. But if I don't make the first step, how will I know? And I started making new first steps. And that was really the biggest thing that I took away from that MDMA therapy experience. is making steps, getting out of my comfort zone, finding areas where I'm uncomfortable again. And that brought me to life again. That brought happiness back into my soul, as you can see into my eyes. It really made me really happy to do something new when I had always feared new. Like in any way I feared new. I wouldn't move out of my apartment because I would be on a new bus route and I didn't want to figure out the bus route. I wouldn't go for a hike up a mountain because I hadn't been there before and I didn't want to, it was much more comfortable to be in my room instead of doing that. Such an athletic and guy that someone thinks is out there doing everything. I was the exact opposite. That was my journey with the mental health area of things. I'm still dealing with it today, obviously, as I believe everyone still is. Highs and lows, and you're always kind of riding that fine edge. But with Never Alone, I took that from there, and I decided to really go after this and push it. So I went and created the Never Alone clothing line, the hoodie and hat, because when I was in my own depressed area and whatnot, I would look online. I'd try to find things and people, initiatives and businesses to help me, to inspire me, to show me what a morning routine was, to do this, do that. And to be honest, the only people that I connected with were social media influencers and other people who understood, who would write blogs on other things, but then they delved into this little realm. And it was the people that understood what social media looked like in 2020 and 2019. Other than these other websites where there was no emotional connection to the writing. There was a big business or a big brand or government entity and they had all the views and everything going in. I just couldn't get an emotional connection. If I couldn't get a connection, it was not something I wanted to try myself. So I thought there's a big disconnect between a lot of people trying to get this search. And I then planned to make Never Alone as if I could be a face of it. I could be that dude just talking to them, going through my workout of the day, talking about my food, talking about my business as a venture going up in the highs and lows. I showed my whole journey through creating this. So many failures, but so many gains. And that helped me on the day of the launch, to be honest with you. I had a great first day because I showed my journey. These people were part of it. They were part of me, part of the family. And as that's grown and as that first day happened about 9 months ago, May 12th, coronavirus really messed up my plan. I was going to do a Kickstarter and that just wasn't going to happen on April 12th. So I flipped the switch and got a website out in a month. But as that's gone and as the sales have happened, I've been able to adapt and grow and understand where I fit in this realm with everybody else here. And I realized I don't want to be initiative. I don't want to be an advocacy. I want mental health should be a brand, a business, like Gymshark, like Nike. Like mental health for me is physical health. Like they combine in the same way. Why can't mental health be talked in the same aspect? Why can't you have a cool mental health brand that you wear, something you're proud of? And not just like a piece of merch that is a cheap shirt that will blow out after 10 washes and has a quote on it. Something that gives you meaning and value, gives you some extra push in that workout you're doing or whatnot. And that is what I'm striving to with this. That's why this hoodie took me 12 months to actually get it figured out, how to create a single piece, and get them handcrafted and designed and everything done on it and stitched the logoing. That is where I want to take this. And I'm really proud because actually in the last 3 months, I've found that path and that vision. Why I say I'm proud is because, as I said, I'm a first-time entrepreneur. I don't know really what I'm doing. I'm learning each step the new way. I'm funding everything by the sales of my hoodie. That's pretty much it. And side jobs, I'm putting that money into it. And that's all I have at the moment. So I'm learning how to get advertising for cheap. I'm learning that my content that I create of myself in a day can mean so much to the business and the brand. But it is a big struggle sometimes when you have something massive going on and I have no one else to lean on. I have no business partner to work with or no inspiring someone that can help me through the way or some money injected into it that I have something to play with. So mental health struggles do come into this. But then that reverts me back to my thinking of, I did my morning routine when I was depressed and that helped me get out of it. I did my fitness routine then too. So I have to keep those things up while I'm feeling good, while I'm happy, and while I'm on this journey. And I'm looking forward to what the next 6 months, 6 years will be like. I really do hope that Never Alone is alive at that time. I really do think it will be alive at that time. And a lot of what I am doing as a human myself is going to help push that. As in, I actually just started rowing on a rowing machine in Erg during COVID because there was nothing else to do. And I realized I'm quite good at it. And I have an opportunity to perhaps go Olympic level from this. So the last 3 months I've been training. And in a week, I will be rowing at the Canadian Indoor Rowing Championships. I've placed a time already in 3 months that was better than the winner last year. And it's like, what can go next? What can I do? How can I make up for all my failures and all my things I was afraid of, shameful for, of my past life sporting career, and put into this new one as kind of a beacon of light and hope for people, but also a beacon of light and hope for me. All this stuff I'm doing really is, I'm selfish. It's for me to feel happy again and to have a drive and have a purpose in life. And I hope then if I can get that, I can share that with others about what my journey is like, what I learned, what to do right, what to do wrong, what to try. And hopefully other people can try alongside me. Yeah, that is Never Alone to me, and that is my journey and what I've been so far.
Wow. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Thank you so much here, Paul, for that. I guess I'm echoing back from you there. I can only hear me once. It's good. It's bad enough with a podcast when I have to hear me twice. Once is enough for most people hearing me. So at least we hear me once. Paul, and your journey is just starting the next chapter in your life. And it sounds like entrepreneurship and sport, life, all these things have intertwined. And kind of that mix of what we grow up with shame or even failure, whether it's in sport or even traditional school at the elementary, high school, and even post-secondary level, right? There's this stigma attached to, I don't want to fail. There's a grade attached to that. And sometimes, well, I'm not going to, if I don't try, don't put the work in, the work ethic, then, well, you know what? Then if I fail, I don't really fail. So I've struggled with that too, whether it's in sport, not at the level that you've achieved or attained, but also in school. So trying to break down those barriers and those stigmas in school also. Don't get me going as far as the kind of the formal nature for the last 100 and something years that people have been graded in what we teach with the curriculum rather than what we do in entrepreneurship and the work that Futurepreneur does. And also, I know we have Vanessa on here. She's a little under weather today, so she's not going to be joining us to say a few things about Community Futures. But I'd like you to talk about that, Paul, please, because I know they've helped you. That was the reason that we came in contact, that Vanessa connected us. So it sounds to me that Community Futures BC has been very helpful, at least instrumental in guiding you and helping you along your entrepreneurial journey. So perhaps you can talk to that a little bit.
Definitely. Actually, as I said in that piece where I didn't really have anyone to reach out to, I didn't have a blueprint, a vision to follow. I lied because that is the one thing that did step in. Community Futures did find me. From all the content that I put out there about what I was doing, I got a message on LinkedIn from a good friend now, Dugan, and he's like, "Hi, this is me. I have this thing going on. We like to help entrepreneurs in your area, mental health. Here we go." To be honest with you, I thought it was a scam. I thought someone was trying to take money from me. Because it was just like, you're going to do what? You're going to give me this plan and everything? Like, yeah, we'll do this. I'm like,
sounds too good to be true.
Well, we met 3 times and I was still kind of holding off until I saw something for real.
Right.
But no, like Community Futures did that. Dugan did. He set me up. He said, this is what a business plan looks like. This is your vision. This is what Facebook ads you're going to have to go through in there. And to be honest with you, like, I knew a lot of the stuff, but not doing it yourself already once. It's just good to hear someone say like, yeah, that is what you need to do. And I agree with this plan of yours. Because other than that, even if you read it or do it, you have this plan like, but maybe I'm missing a step. Can someone tell me that step I'm missing? Can I have some guidance here? And that was Community Futures. They were that guidance. They still are. I'm lucky enough to help others going through their plan also now for everything I learned about social media. But yeah, they were a big help and still are.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Next steps for you. I know COVID, as you mentioned, has thrown a bit of a wrench into your plans. And of course, you've had to build a website and go fully digital like everybody else has had to do. So what is the vision for what would you consider to be your next milestones? And I believe it was Teresa that says, don't go from 0 to 100, right? Go to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So whatever number you are at now, I don't even want to say that next number step. What would that be that you would that you're striving for right now?
I'm understanding that, like, I started with the clothing, and I believe this is a piece that will help connect with people who aren't struggling with mental health. Like, I think we have to catch into those 90% of the population that doesn't want to admit it or doesn't think they have something. Mm-hmm. So then once they do think of it, they have a place to go to. I know someone else mentioned that. Like, we got to get them so they feel comfortable just in a general conversation from something else. And if it can be fashion, if it can be a physical or fitness side of Never Alone, if there can be other areas where they come to for that, and then they come and get some sense of mental health afterwards when they need that struggle, that's it. So I think the problem is, for me, it's have the funding and have enough to actually work on a clothing line. I don't have the time. I'm a one-man band at the moment. So for this year, it is essentially just making a lot of blogs, animations, content that reads well on social media. It goes on IG stories, reels. It plays well for shares. It gets the comments and people engaged in talking. That is the thing. I want the brand to get out there like that. Put the money into that and get people talking about their mental health and struggles, but the Never Alone vision for it. And it kind of relates to this day and age on social media. It's something that anyone can relate to on TikTok or Snapchat, you name it. From a 12-year-old to a 40-year-old, they're like, I get this piece of content. It talks to me.
I love the way you framed that earlier during your talk too, saying, well, if Nike and other brands could do it for physical, active sports, for physical health, why can't you be a business and a brand that's around mental health? And it makes complete sense. Well, there's no sweat, there's no shame, or it's not inappropriate to actually say, I've got a for-profit business that happens to be centered around mental health and mental health advocacy. That isn't something that's opportunistic or just, why not? The fact you framed it like that is like, I never thought of it that way. And you're right, in my mind.
Well, hopefully I can lead the way. At the moment, I don't see anyone doing it, and I get it, but it is a weird thing, and I get why people are kind of afraid of it, but why not? Why can't I? Not even make money. Why can't I create something that makes you want to get better? Like, why should I feel bad about that if I create $1 or $2 off this because it made you feel better? Fitness, health, Weight Watchers, you name it. Everyone else has done it.
Well, there's lots of products out there over the years that make lots of money over making people feel bad. Tobacco, others, anyway. So you're doing it for the right thing. So yes, there's no stigma attached negatively with that at all. So Paul, I love what you're doing. And so happy that we can support you in some small way. Hopefully this having a national audience, especially when we post it on YouTube and the viewership we get there, that it just, again, helps to tell your story and to raise awareness of the good work that you're doing, and also the good work that Community Futures is doing. So it's my pleasure to help you any way that we can.
I was going to say, because tomorrow is Bell Let's Talk Day. I got reached out to last night by CTV, and they came to my house earlier before this, and we filmed a thing for Bell Let's Talk Day on CTV tomorrow. It'll be airing at 5 or 6 o'clock on me and the Never Alone. So if anyone's there watching, this is, it's a big week for Never Alone.
Great. Yeah. And I'm sure they're going to digitize that. So if you then have that piece and you can send me the link through Startup Vancouver and also Startup Canada, we can certainly make sure that net is cast even wider on your behalf.
Thank you.
All right. Paul, it's a pleasure to see you again. You stay safe, and I look forward to talking to you again very soon.
Thank you, Colin.
All right. You're welcome.